It is the Pond Hockey Eagles postgame show. If you were on Mars, you don't know that the Eagles got pasted today, 42-19 to the San Francisco 49ers, who avenged last year's NFC title game. And the numbers are grim. The 49ers, after two meek possessions where they had minus 6 yards, then rolled up 456 yards of offense with 6 straight touchdowns to win it 42-19. With Brock Purdy throwing for 314 and 4 touchdowns, and Christian McCaffrey 17 carries for 93 yards. And, of course, what does it mean? Well, the big picture is if this plays out like it's likely to play out, the Eagles would have to win an NFC title game in San Francisco. And I think the 49ers proved today that they are the better team at this particular moment. Who knows what will happen in an NFC title game, but they were the better team today. So it is time now. Kayla Santiago joins us on the set for Kayla's Diamond Debate, brought to us by Mark's Jewelers. Kayla, a lot of big holiday things going on at Mark's.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the holiday season coming up, so you want to make sure you get the best of the best jewelry. You've got the pearls, you got the bracelets, the earrings, everything that you can imagine. Go to Mark's Jewelers today. It's fantastic stuff that they have. Also, get myself some stuff from Mark's Jewelers as well, so make sure you hop on the bandwagon and make sure you go there today. Now let's go to our Diamond Debate, and it's something that you guys already talked about in the show, but I do want to bring it up again. Is Shaq Leonard an absolute need for Howie Roseman right now? You look on the Twitter poll, and it says make sure you go vote right now if you want to be included in this conversation. 92% of the people say yes, 8% say no. And right now, I know you guys talked about maybe there's an underlying injury right there. Maybe he's better than having what you have right now. But for Howie Roseman at this moment, do you think it's a must-need for the Philadelphia Eagles to do better than they are right now?
Listen, I think it is because they're desperate. And they really don't have any other solution. So when you look at what brought guys like Bradley Roby and Kevin Byard in here, was kind of the same level of desperation. We didn't really know whether they had anything left either, but they needed those two guys for certain positions, and they've come in and they've done a decent enough job. They haven't been spectacular, but they've done a decent enough job. So I got to think with your lineup right now at linebacker, with guys banged up and how they played today, especially Morrow, you got to take a chance. And maybe he's not the same player, and maybe he isn't 100% healthy, but I don't think they have any choice.
No, desperation is the right word, and this Eagles team right now at the linebacker position reeks of desperation, unfortunately. And I don't know how many times you can see a guy like Christian Ellis bite on a play-action fake and the throw go over the top, whether it be for a touchdown or whether that be for 32 yards. That's the type of thing you've seen so many times from this Eagles linebacking core, especially the guys that are backup. Credit to Zach Cunningham. He has come in here, and he has played very well this season, far beyond what I expected him to when the Eagles brought him in late in the preseason. For me, I think they absolutely need to get a guy like Shaq Leonard. And what I am hoping for, because Mike and Seth, you guys made fine points with the argument as far as that is he even 100% healthy. I want to bank on the idea that he is doing what Ndamukong Suh did last year, what Linval Joseph did last year, which is most likely ring shopping, trying to sign with a team that you're most likely going to win with. And if you are making that decision as a veteran player who's just looking to finish out a year, I think you're picking the Philadelphia Eagles over the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and Seth, the guy like Leonard isn't necessarily going to bring them and have them win the Super Bowl, but it'll definitely help them win some good games, especially how they got torched tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could. You know, my question is, is he healthy? Can he come in and be productive, or has he lost so much that the Colts were ready to say goodbye, even though we're going to pay you $6 million to go bye-bye? Is he healthy enough after visiting Dallas and having a need and them saying, we pass, or him telling them, I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to go and visit the Eagles and see, what their offer is. I mean, the offers can't be that wide, but if, to Mark's point, if he's ring shopping, I get it. I understand. I just don't know, man. I don't know that. I don't know that bringing players in, after the season has already begun, if players who've been released, if they are really going to be an answer, to a question that large. Like I tweeted out I said, Howie, this is the reason why you value linebackers. What you just witnessed and what you just saw is why you value linebackers. This isn't a problem right now. This is a problem that has been plaguing this team since the draft for the last 10 years because the Eagles have made a point that, you know what, we can piecemeal the linebacker position if we're strong enough up front. If you look at the great defenses, and what are the better defenses in the National Football League? The better defenses in the National Football League are the San Francisco 49ers or the Baltimore Ravens. All you have to do is look at the players that they have at linebackers on those two teams to understand why they're a great defense, not only in the run game, but what those four guys mean to the passing game of every defense and how much the Eagles lack all of that in their defense and wonder why they're having the problems defensively that they're having.
Let me play Howie Roseman to counter you. So I'm Howie.
Okay.
And I say, yeah, okay, Seth, how much does it really hurt us? This is our second loss of the year. We're 10-2. We've been a contender every year with the philosophy that linebackers aren't really a priority for us.
How many Super Bowls has it won you?
Well, one.
It's won you, and you won a Super Bowl that year. Are you forgetting that Tom Brady threw for 505 yards in Super Bowl 52? Okay. You think that the linebackers didn't have a hand in that? You needed Nick Foles to post 41 points on the New England Patriots and score almost every possession in the second half to win that game. Okay. So if that's your contention, if that's the way you're going to play, then carry on. Do what you're doing. But you can look forward to more performances like this and the ineffectiveness of your defense moving forward if you continue to neglect that position. Because, listen, you look in Baltimore, they got Roquan Smith and they got Queen. You look at the linebackers they got Warner and they got Greenlaw, four of the top linebackers in the National Football League, okay? I'm not saying you got to go and spend first-round draft picks on linebackers, but you got to go get one ass kicker. You got to have one linebacker that when you go to your five-man front, he knows where he fits, and when he's running to the ball with no blocker, he's looking to undress somebody.
All right, let me take myself out of Howie mode. I'm back to Mike Misnelli mode. I think you're absolutely right, and I think that they have devalued the linebacker position for years. Just like Andy Reid used to devalue the wide receiver position. It makes me crazy.
I want to say one more thing about the idea of Shaq Leonard. Back to the question there. No one is looking in the right mind for Shaq Leonard to be some kind of savior to this Eagles linebacking core. You're looking to upgrade what is a very bad position. You do not have a lot of talent. I will take what Shaq Leonard has between the ears and put that up against the athletic ability of a guy like Nicholas Morrow right now. And I will have more confidence in Shaq Leonard being able to go out there and make the smart play, fill the right gap, know where he has to be in that five-man front, and go out there and, hey, maybe, just maybe, his coaches will put him in the right position. He'll already know to be in the right position to actually make a play like the Eagles so desperately needed in this game against the 49ers.
Barzy, I agree with you 100%. But you want to know something? The best ability is availability. And if you bring that guy in here and he ain't available, you find yourself right back where you were before, and now you've kind of fractured what little bit of confidence that the guys that you have on the roster now have.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You don't think the Niners already did that?
Just a little bit. I mean, they came into Philadelphia, and I know Philly was underdogs coming into this game, but it was just hard to watch. When you're watching this team at the link lose like this, Jalen Hurts at one point, we didn't know if he was going to come back in the game, goes to concussion protocol. At that point, I think they lost the game already, though, and I think most of us can agree. But you look at this game right now, there's a whole lot to unpack. We talked at halftime that Sean Desai has been very good at halftime adjustments, and we said, but we're so tired of saying they need to adjust at halftime. They need to come into the game and have a game plan that's going to work for all four quarters. So out of this game, you go to play Dallas, then you play the Seahawks. What worries you the most? Is it the defense? Is it the linebackers? What do you think is really going to hold them back from trying to get this top seed in the NFC?
I think it's everything. I think it's the way that they're playing on defense, because there was a time during the year where they were dominant in the run game, and even though they gave up some passing, there was a time where they seemed to be getting better. Now they seem to be regressing in both phases. Offensively, they started out shaky the first 3 games of the season. They leaned upon the run game, which really got the offense totally on track. And the minute they got the offense back on track, they abandoned the run game. Then Cam Jurgens got hurt, and everybody wanted to lay it at his feet while they couldn't run the football no more. When the truth of the matter is, they made a conscious decision not to run the damn football anymore, to try to win the game solely on Jalen Hurts' arm, you know? So, and that's why I always say, the running game is something you have to commit to so that when you need to go to it, you're confident that you can actually get it done. You know, they don't commit to it. So when they need to get it done, there's times where it works, times where it doesn't work, okay? But the foolproof is we're going to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, and he's going to save us somehow, some way by doing something miraculous, whether it's making a great throw or scrambling and making an off-schedule play. And if you look at this game today, tell me one time, tell me how many plays you could probably count them on one hand, and he threw the ball 48 times today, okay? That doesn't account for the times that he had to run, that those pass plays that turn into scrambles. Mm-hmm. So Jalen Hurts had 50-plus pass plays called today in this football game, okay? How many times did you see him, 1, 2, 3, boom, get the ball out of his hand? How many times did you see him throw on time and on rhythm? He was holding and scrambling and just doing everything that he could. That tells me that you're not varying your routes, and you don't have routes built in your offense to beat certain coverages. You know, San Francisco played some man today, something that they very rarely do, and the Eagles hurt him in certain positions with it. But against the zone, they had no answer. And we know that Hurts can operate proficiently from the pocket. But if you don't have routes to beat, you know, defense, if you don't have routes to beat zone coverage, then what are you doing? Like, we talked about it early, Mark. We talked about the 10 personnel and being able to get to trips, 3 wide receivers to one side, and you got 4 wide receivers in the game and 1 running back. Get trips to one side, 1 running back here with DeAndre Swift here. And then you motion him and go 4-by-1. They ran a bubble screen out of it one time in the first half. Tell me another time where you saw them use that formation to their advantage. They did not use it. They did not use it. And they didn't have to particularly run a screen. They could have just ran DeAndre or released him to that side out of the backfield and let the 3 guys run the zone deep and then dump it off to him and let him gain 5-6 yards on first, second down. They could have did that all day long. Now, if I can think about that and all I get paid to do is analyze that, you mean to tell me that the guys that spend 12, 15, 16 hours a day eating, sleeping, studying, game planning, they couldn't come up with that? Come on, man.
Well, they did get back to the slant to A.J. Brown today, which I was happy to see. They had put that in the closet for like the last 5 weeks, so that was a good part about it.
But they got back to it, Mike, because you're playing against a team that plays zone.
Yeah, and so that pass, that pass was there. And Devontae produced again. So here's the encouraging part. Like next week, Dallas Goedert will be back. So that rounds out the offense again for the Dallas game. A necessary part of their game plan next week with him back.
I'll put it like this. This win for the 49ers, loss for the Eagles, I don't fear the rest of the season. Like, I look at this Dallas game. It's obviously a game that I think is a must-win situation for the Eagles here to make sure that they're in control of their own destiny going forward. And then obviously they got opponents that hopefully they don't look past as the season winds down. But whether you want to dial up excuses about this game, whether it had to be with just poor coaching or whether it had to do with bad talent or guys just missing their assignments and all that, and it boils down to me that the San Francisco 49ers today were a much better team. And if it was a knockout, drag-out fight like we were talking about earlier where the Eagles only lost by 3, then you could kind of maybe talk about more things that were more excuses or explanations for why they didn't come out on the winning side. But the fact that they were so dominated today is what gives me pause about going after the number 1 seed, home field advantage, and the first-round bye. But when it comes to controlling their own destiny, I firmly believe that they are better than every other team that's left on their schedule, with the only team that really having a shot or opportunity being the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas.
I think at this point it's time to stop, though, giving the Eagles some excuses, because we've talked about it and we've said, okay, well, They find ways to win games. They find ways to win games. What's going to be the breaking point where all of a sudden they're not playing well and they finally lose that game? That was today, and yes, the 49ers are a very good team. But to me right now, I know that we have A.J. Brown, and you have Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert is coming back. But this offense, in my opinion, is starting to become one-dimensional with the play calling. The running game, it's not getting going whatsoever, and you're constantly seeing it and seeing it. And I came into this game when it was foggy outside, when it was raining earlier today, saying, okay, the Eagles might run the ball a little bit more just because the weather conditions, but it's still not something consistently that they're able to do, and I honestly do think it's going to hurt them, especially in Dallas when they're worried about the Dallas fans behind them. They're not at home. They're not at the link. Seth, I'm going to go to you. Do you feel like this offense is one-dimensional, or do you think that they're going to figure it out? They have enough talent to do so.
Kayla, they haven't wanted to run the ball all year.
I know.
You know,
and it's a problem.
I mean, you talk about the weather. They played 2 games previous to this in rain and cold, and they came out and threw the hell out of the ball in those games. So, I mean, to believe that they honestly believe, it is their belief. They think that the way that you win is by throwing the ball on a consistent basis. You know, and my out for them is that, okay, if you're going to throw it, at least take what the defense is giving you so that you can move the chains. You know, a lot of what they do are plays down the field. They want routes 15-plus yards down the field. And A, those routes take time, and B, if they're not open, now Jalen has to turn into a magician, where if you got a check down and you can get 5 to 6 yards on first down, if you're going to pass it and you're not going to run it, then check the damn ball down, okay? The 2 sacks that Jalen took today were atrocious. You know, one of them, he's running and to the sideline, and instead of throwing the ball away, he's been doing this all year long. I guarantee you, he got at least 10 sacks where he runs to the sideline, and instead of throwing the ball away and taking the incompletion like everybody else, he runs out of bounds at negative yardage and just gives the other team a sack. At least 10 of those, okay? Then the other one, he's standing in the pocket and just waiting and waiting. When it works, it's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times, it's not going to work. You have to have an internal clock inside your mind that says, okay, I've been here long enough. I've asked my offensive line. They've gone above and beyond to protect me as long as they can protect me. Let me get out of the pocket and throw the damn ball away and live to play another down instead of taking a sack and putting us behind. What was it, 3rd and 18? And you throw the ball to the Slim Reaper and he runs like his hair's on fire and gets you a first down and you still come away with nothing in that drive? I don't know. They're just hell-bent on not running the football. And I don't care what the circumstances are unless all else fails, until they get to a point where nothing that they're running actually works. They're just not going to run the football.
When is it going to come to that point, though, in the playoffs? Because right now, yes, I understand that I can't stand either Jalen Hurts scrambling and getting sacked and throwing the ball instead incomplete, but I feel like it's because there's so much pressure on him, where whether it's Brian Johnson or Nick Sirianni, because at this point I don't really know. I think Sirianni does like to throw the ball a lot, saying, hey, oh, by the way, you got to find a guy open. Don't hand the ball off to DeAndre Swift or Kenny Gainwell. With that being said, make sure, once again, you head to Mark's Jewelers. This holiday season, you can save up to over $2,000 now through Christmas in store and online. Never, ever regifted. Mark's Jewelers has some fantastic pieces, as you can see on your screen. The rings, the necklace, the earrings, and so much more. Make sure you go to Mark's Jewelers today. And that was presented by our Diamond Debate. All
righty. Coming up, John McMullen, live from the stadium. We'll hear what he has to say on the Pond Lehocky Eagles postgame show. We're live right here at Ocean Casino, and we're back after this.
And welcome
to the Diamond Debate
with Liam and Hillary
in the heart of Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania.
What you got for us today on your right hand, Hill?
Today we've got a right hand ring, Liam.
What is that?
It's a ring that you would wear on your right hand.
That's it?
That's all there is to it.
Okay.
It's meant to balance your left hand situation, or if you're not engaged or married, it says, I'm not engaged or married, but I still have this over here that's sparkly.
There's a lot of other ways you can say that.
No, not if you're trying to wear jewelry. Which
Okay.
one's your favorite?
I love this Art Deco moment. I mean, with these beautiful baguettes and round diamonds. I mean, who wouldn't say no to one of these?
Baguettes are hot right now. People also love an eternity band. It's beautiful.
Great for the other hand.
That's right. So come on down here, for love grows here at Mark's Jewelers.
Every day of the week except Sundays and Mondays.
That's because we are closed.